I want to talk with you today about laundry. I know that few of us like to do the laundry, and that if you're like me, you actually dread the enormous pile, all the while continuing to contribute to it. And I really get that of all the possible things to talk about today, laundry might not seem like the most riveting. But hear me out. The jumble that is the laundry basket, the way we search our closet already late for work in need of a particular item that sits unwashed at the bottom of the hamper, and the potential for error. Ooh, that risky crimson shirt. But the worst of it, it's after the laundry's done, when the clothes are clean and fresh and smell good again and need to be put away. Given that a person gets one TED Talk in a lifetime, maybe, why these short minutes on the most boring of all domestic drudgery? Maybe the real question is, why is laundry such a potent metaphor? I'm pretty sure it feels that way to me because I have children. And whether or not you have kids, you know kids equals laundry. Okay, am I really here to talk with you about front-loading washing machines, delicate cycles, enviro detergents, and the life-changing magic of household chores? Absolutely not, no. What I am here to explore is how to get through our to-dos, how to get from to-do to done a little more easefully, a little more humanely. Most of us are swimming in our own jumbled laundry piles of sorts. There are things we want to do eagerly and full-heartedly so. Projects to start, trips to take, people to see, ways to be in service. There are also things we have to do. Meetings, action items after meetings, follow-ups and nudges to the action items, and more meetings, action items, follow-ups, and nudges. There are to-dos here and now. There are to-dos on the horizon that we feel we ought to at least start to do sooner before later comes much closer. There are also things we feel we ought to do. Exercise, quit smoking, eat well, drink more water, immerse in nature, laugh heartily, set boundaries, relax, clean the house, get a head start on taxes for once, volunteer, and oh, that laundry. There really is a lot to do. And not all that much time to do our to-dos in. So how do we turn our wants, have-tos, and oughts into plans, into priorities? Like so many children, when mine were little, and this still sweetly endures to some extent to this day, they used to adore trying on different outfits, making creative color and pattern pairings out of hand-me-downs from neighbors and secondhand store finds, wild, silly, always fun combinations. They loved putting stuff on. But much less so putting stuff away. And they particularly enjoyed, in between one outfit change and the next, eating a really stain-probable snack, like blueberries or grape juice. Thing is, what goes into the laundry? It comes back from the laundry. And what comes back from the laundry needs to be put away. And even if you're a fully responsible professional grown-up, putting stuff away is the worst. Case in point, I am much better at putting dishes into the dishwasher. And when you are 4 and 6, putting stuff away isn't just the worst, It borders on catastrophic. Yet as an aside, the experiential learning of this loop never seems to kick in or stick as kids keep putting on and messing up as many t-shirts, leggings, and mismatched socks as possible in a 12-hour period, day after day, week after week. And laundry wasn't my kiddos' only to-do. There was bed making, replete with inherited baby blankets and stuffies. There was brushing the teeth, helping us at the dinner table, and feeding the dog. And imagine for a moment, what if their to-dos came with performance reviews, critiques, or grades? What if one of them wasn't feeling very well? What if they were sad or anxious? What if the stakes were high? Their laundry, our laundry list of projects and pressures, all of it can wind up feeling like a giant, overwhelming, impossible to do. This isn't about laundry or about kids. It's about us on the daily and our never-ending cycles of tasks. So where did my kids begin that day? And where do we with all of our to-dos? We might begin with a list. Oh, that to-do list, gosh, they feel good to make. Look how beautiful, colorful, planful, hopeful. We believe that if we list it, it'll get done. Yet, while we might love the sense of satisfaction and accomplishment from making that list, from crossing things out, what's actually accomplished? The quickest stuff, the easiest stuff, and with an eye to crossing out more of the quick and the easy. And our to-dos are randomly jotted and disproportionate. We list things like text Sam, prep taxes, pick up sour cream, write a book, and do the laundry. What gets done and crossed off? Sam, sour cream, doing the laundry, not putting it away, however. What doesn't and likely gets procrastinated for yet another day? The big and the bulky. Taxes and writing that book. In order to get through the big stuff, we gotta think small, not all. Call it chunking or subtasking. Breaking things down makes to-dos more doable. That laundry, it doesn't get folded in one fell swoop. That book, it gets written 50 or 500 words at a time. And to be sure, time management hacks and apps abound. But let's get clear. Managing time isn't something we can actually do. We are no boss of time. In fact, doesn't it feel like the opposite is true? What we are is in a relationship with time. We can dance with it, we yield to it, and we can do our best to calibrate those chunks, those subtasks with the actual available openings in our calendars. Now, in that calibration, where are we? Taking a pause, meditating, doing a de-stress walk around the block, or my personal fave, simply lying on the ground for a moment. These seldom count as to-dos. Instead, our lists are most often collections of other people's needs, those of our families, our supervisors, our communities. So when can we catch a break or even a breath? And how do we factor those into the jumble? Enter prioritization. But wait, our to-do list seems to be getting longer. We've broken down the big and bulky into subtasks, and now we're including our own needs. You might, at this point, be thinking, I've actually come here to make things worse. Existentially spiraling, wondering how our to-dos will ever get done. There are systems aplenty to help us rank and order our to-dos into priorities, matrices that triage, but primarily based on urgency. But at the heart of prioritization rests the question of what's important. And so many models I see omit so much of what we hold as important. I want us to rethink all that. I'm proposing a new approach. I call it the priority wheel. It's neither graph nor grid, but rather a circle that comprises 5 clusters or categories of to-dos. There are things we have to do. Imminent, immovable musts, like caregiving, school, work deadlines. There are things we should do, milestones on the horizon that are inching ever nearer. There are things we want to do, spirit uplifting pleasures that need no other explanation than delight. There are things that feel good to do. And rather than ask ourselves if we are in the mood to, say, stretch or journal, we do them to replenish our mood. Ooh, and there are things we aim to do. A time to chip away at our big, juicy ambitions, our radical goals. That book, this TED Talk. Start anywhere and do one pass through in a morning, afternoon, or one full day, and then repeat. Within a spin, we wind up tending to a fuller and more humane arc of our what's importance. Okay, we've moved beyond our lists. We've broken things down. We have married tasks with real time. We've enfolded our own needs, and we have honored many more of the what's importance we value. How else can we help ourselves do our to-dos? We can welcome in constraints. Instead of saying it'll take whatever time it takes or it'll get done somehow, we can give our tasks edges. Instead of whenever, we give each to-do a window, like 15 minutes to put the clean clothes away. Every Tuesday evening for a month to get those tax receipts in order, and 1 year of daily word counts. And that first draft is done. Constraints give us an energizing endpoint. Boundaried tasks flourish. Boundary-less tasks flounder. Oh, but does this all ever sound serious? And to be sure, some to-dos are, but most could do with a dose of lightheartedness. Interspersed dance parties, awkward grown-up cartwheels, not this time. Kitchen experiments, edible or otherwise, big belly laughs. These lift up the heavy lifting that are our to-dos. And besides, aren't these the best uses of our short time anyway? My kids did make it through the laundry that day, and each week since. How? They started by bravely getting the big and bulky items out of the way, like sweatshirts and pants and the hard work of turning that one inside-out appendage right side in. Then a tickle fight to bring up the joy and in turn motivation. Over to bed making to switch things up and prevent laundry-induced fatigue. Back to the pile for PJs, an easy win, then socks small in size, big in fine motor skills. And finally, to end on a high note, a glitter rock movement break. I get it. Not every kid has a live-in learning strategist, and make no mistake, this learning strategist wrestles with time and all there is to do within it. But here's what they did. They sorted into chunks instead of trying to do the whole task in one go. They front-loaded the hardest effort. They giggled throughout. And they had a time window so it wouldn't take all day. I'm not necessarily saying to ditch the list or scrap the matrix, nor do I dare imply that it is easy or universal. But to get from to do to done, sustainably, compassionately, equitably, doably, we need helpful, healthful learning strategies. Whether you are a student or parent, artist or activist, manager or entrepreneur, any and all role we can, leverage the list. Think small, not all. Align with time. Prioritize you too. Constrain to tame and punctuate with play. These help, if even a little, to lighten the loads that we carry amidst a culture of just push through it, productivism, and profound disparities in who gets to rest. And help us tend to the myriad what's importance we cherish. I want us to lean into a reimagining of how we go about doing the things that need doing, alongside doing the things a little at a time that we so long for, alongside doing the things that support us in taking good and kind care of ourselves and each other. That is how we get from to do to done. Thank you.